what's good, y'all? It's your boy T. I'm back with a video on my channel. Finally, I'm showing you guys how to do a drop fade in today's video. But without further ado, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, share my video, because I'm back and I'm making these bangers back to back. So right now I'm just combing my hair out to make it easier so I can cut, but here we go. So preferably I use my Andis Masters. They're like very great. They're quiet clippers. All you can hear is like the hair cutting, and they get the job done nice and smooth. They're not loud, they're not too sharp or anything. Like, they're perfect. You can find these for about 80 bucks on Amazon, but I paid like 120 for them at a hair store, but you can find them on 80 bucks at Amazon. So right now I'm showing you guys where to start the guideline. You don't want to go above the box of your edge up, so you want to cut like all the C cup off. That's if you want. You can also have your little you can keep the C cup in, but it wouldn't really necessarily be like a drop fade unless you want to do like a low drop fade. So there you go. So right now I'm just cutting off the I'm just trimming up the hair, setting the guideline, not doing too much, but yeah, just cutting these parts off. And also, to clean up those areas, you could also go back with a T-liners for like people with like sensitive skin. I mean, not sensitive skin. You could use like the foil shavers. I don't use those because my skin is like very sensitive and I would break out immediately. So I'm just cleaning up both sides. And also another quick tip, you don't want to go from one side all the way through the back to the other side, because there's a good chance that you're going to mess up in the end and your line is going to be crooked. So start on one side, you go to the other side and meet up in the back. And also make sure you brush or comb down, preferably a comb, because like they'll tell you that in barber school, use a comb because it's easier to sanitize and clean versus like using a brush, because the brush holds a lot of hair in it. So make sure you brush make sure you comb as you go. Now I'm gonna pull out this mirror so I can get the back side. Make sure if you cut in the back of your hair, you want to make sure you have like a decent sized mirror so you can see the whole back of your head. Now, like I was saying, when you go around the back side, you want to leave the back side a little wider, but make sure you don't go from one side all the way through the back to the other side, because you're gonna mess up. So slow and steady. I got my lever closed and I'm just cleaning up all the hair, making my guideline as neat as possible. As you can see back there, it's coming along slowly. I'm not moving too fast. The video might be sped up a little bit, so it might seem a little faster, but I'm going nice and slow. Just following, creating a little guideline so I can see, just working my way around. Whatever you do to one side, you gotta do to the other side. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just reciprocating the same thing on the other side, just making the guideline as neat as possible on the other side, so it allows my steps to be easier. Next step is going to be a lever all the way open. Like, since I have shorter hair, I should have started with like a little lever halfway or a notch before halfway, but I'm gonna go back in with the lever open all the way and set my second guideline about a ½ inch above the first guideline that I have. You don't want to go up too high, because then you're just gonna make yourself like a bald fade, especially in this cut. And so just go up a ½ inch, slowly but surely, and just knock that hair out. And you don't want to dig into the hair. Just keep the just keep the clipper straight and like just glide it against the head. This is where I realized I can close the lever a little bit. So I close the lever to a little bit, like a little less than halfway. So like one lever up, and I'm just going back doing the exact same steps, hitting that same line, just to make the guideline a little bit lighter and a little bit easier to blend. So that's what I'm doing right now. Now as I turn around, you guys can see the guidelines clear right there. You see the first bald line, and you see the first guideline right there. And I'm just going back, still attacking that, just cleaning it up a little bit. You know, just trying to make it as neat as possible and clear as possible so I can like transition pretty smooth. Now I'm closing the lever halfway so we can knock out the first guideline that I said, just to make that transition smooth. And you also want to make sure that you don't go up above like the first guideline. Like you don't want to go too high. You want to go right into that transition line right there in the middle. Now I'm going back using a brush because it's a personal brush, just cleaning up all the hanging hairs. As you can see, that guideline is looking, you know, blurry. So that's how you would want your blends to look, nice and blurry. Just get those guidelines out. And if you don't see the lever, if you don't see the guideline going away, you could always close the lever just a little bit, like close it notch by notch, just until you can start seeing that line start to fade away. Also, I just threw the number 1 guard on with the lever open just to move up a little bit. So I didn't have that much hair, so I wasn't really cutting anything when I had put that 1 guard on with the lever open. I should have just started it with a 1 guard, like 2 notches open. Alright, so the fading part is done to my liking, so I'm about to begin with the edge up. Now you guys see me using a pencil. It's just like a pencil to like outline your edge up so you can make sure your edge up is straight. It's nothing more, nothing less. I personally like using it because it just allows my edge up to pop a bit, because I do have some light spots in the front and I don't really like using like the hair fibers and stuff. And you see right there, I'm just like outlining the sides, but I'm gonna do the whole side, like the whole front too. But you can see the fade right there. It's a little blurry on the side. That's how you want it to come out. Looks clean too. And that's also why I use a pencil, because it just makes my haircut look even cleaner. Now I'm about to use my modified T-liners to go over the edge up where I made the pencil marks. It just makes the pencil marks fade away a little bit, which also makes the edge up pop even more. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Also, a quick tip when doing the edge up, make sure you start like on one side and work your way to the other. Otherwise, like again, you're just gonna mess your edge up, have it crooked, leaning to the side. You know, just start in the middle on one side and just work your way to the other side. Ooh-wee, your boy looking clean. Look at that edge up. Look at that fade, bro. Look at that on the side. It's crazy. Y'all need a cut, hit me up. Now it's time for the razor work. I personally like using a razor because, like I said, it just makes that edge up pop even more, as long as you know what you're doing. So with the razor, make sure you just glide against the skin. Don't apply no pressure, otherwise it will cut you because they're very sharp. I cut myself plenty of times, haven't cut any clients, but I cut myself plenty of times just trying to apply too much pressure. But when you go in, make sure you stretch the skin and you just glide against the skin like I'm doing right there. Just glide against the skin. So the cut is pretty much finished. Now it's the time to apply that alcohol. And now the alcohol is like the worst part, but it shouldn't be the worst part as long as you don't have any cuts. So if the cut was nice and clean, smooth, it shouldn't burn, because it shouldn't be any type of little cuts. Like me, it didn't burn because I don't apply too much pressure when I'm cutting, and the cuts still come out clean. So you see me just going through like it's nothing, because it isn't. Just want to say thank y'all for tuning in, for watching my first haircut tutorial. Let me know how I did in the comments or in my DMs at YABOITee. Make sure you guys subscribe, stay tuned, because I'm going to have more videos coming. And yeah, let me know what you guys think of this cut. Catch you guys in the next.